Hey guys, Rusty here at Ugly HP. Today we're going to turn a hubless rotor. We're going to take this thing and make it look like that. Nice and smooth. You want these things to be smooth. That keeps you from having brake pad hang up, noises, squeaks, stuff like that. So first things first, on the inside of your rotor you have the machine part, which is the hub. You're going to want to take and clean all that off, front and back, as clean as you can get it. This way you have a even mounting surface. The only reason I'm making this video is because the people that came and trained me how to use this lathe didn't even correctly train me, and I had to kind of read a manual to correctly figure it out. You're going to run sandpaper on the inside of this. This way you have a clean surface in here. Any little bit of rust pile up can throw you 1/1000ths off, and that can make a big difference in a vibration. So first things first, you want to find your inside plate or cone or whatever they want to call it that covers the majority of the area as much as possible. The more you have, the less end plate wiggle you're going to have, is what they explained to me when they were training me. But you want to cover as much of that as possible of your mounting surface. You don't want to cover more than that, because this right here is not a machine part, which will cause you to be off. Now when you choose these things, you want to be, let me move this over here. You want to be as close to the machine as possible. So that's going to fit like that. That's as close as we can get. No spacers right there. We're going to put a spring in there, and then you want to get your centering cone, one that fits in the center of that. My bad. Next, you're going to get your outside clamp. I think I called it the right thing that time. Push it up there. Your spacers to get out. Then this machine has these two guys. They're beveled different. These right here will shift to compensate if there's any type of I would say like 100% like machine part in there. So if you did forget to sand that, this will help compensate to try to keep that thing as straight in there as possible. Now you put your balancing band on there, or your silencer, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now we're going to come to the point of putting our bits in the correct spot. So we're going to want to adjust this machine, and you want to go about center of the rotor, or in this one's case, wherever we can get some fresh metal. So we're going to take in, I have to turn it on to do this, so it's going to be hard to hear. So we're going to take and draw these guys in. 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. So we're going to bring these in. When I fire up the machine, it's going to be hard to hear me. So we're going to bring these in until we're at 0, or until we touch it. And then we're going to set our dial indicator to 0. And then we're going to back it off and run it all in as far as we feel we want to machine off. And then reset this back to 0. And then we're going to do our first pull. So I'll show you how to do that. It's going to get a little bit noisy. But then once we start it, we'll just shut off and I'll show you the ending result for the first cut. Okay, so that was our first pass. When you're turning these guys and you're running the ones where you have a very big high spot and you got a bunch of low, you want to take and just do slow cuts. That's going to make your bits last longer. I only take 2/1000ths off per run. So what we're going to do now, that's another thing that'll make your bit last longer, is to have the machine off when you run these things in. Or you can reset your dial at 0, back it off and run it in. But I always just shut the machine off. This way I know where I'm at. And I can keep track of how much I actually take off the rotor. If the machine's on, the bit's going to drag across the surface, which is going to obviously dull it a lot quicker. So we're going to take another 2/1000ths off of this thing. Okay, so as you can see, we got more of a level surface now, or even surface. So what we're gonna do is, I know if I take another 2/1000ths off, that'll completely even all this out. So we're gonna run this in, and we're gonna turn our speed down, the speed that this thing pulls. It's gonna move so slow, it's actually gonna put what they call a finished cut on it. It's not gonna be a rough cut. If you were to ship it out right now, even though that looks smooth, if I did a rough cut and it was this material all the way across, you would still get caliper hang up, because it would be wanting to catch the pad and hold it on there. So it's best to do your finished cut. We're going to take another 2/1000ths off. And we're going to turn our dial speed down. I do an extra finish. I do not have complaints when I'm done. As long as you have your min-max figured out. Each vehicle is different. Some manufacturers actually stamp their rotors with the minimum man, I'm having a brain fart like hell today. Allowance, a minimal allowance of distance right here. As long as you have that, you won't have no issues with warpage in your rotor or anything like that. Let's go ahead and do the finish cut, and then I'll show you the results. Alright, so as you can see, this is almost the finished product. What you want to do is, once you do your last cut, your your finished cut, you want to run some sandpaper across this, or even a die grinder with one of those SOS pads on it, and that'll cross etch it, and it'll give it a really good finish. This way you don't have just the same grooves in it that'll cause squeaks or grabbing and stuff. It'll make it extra smooth and make it to where the rotor is going to do its job. And there you have it. That is the finished product. Nice and smooth. Won't have no grabbing issues. Check us out on Facebook. Hit the like button, subscribe. When we get some hub rotors in here, we'll show you how to do a hub rotor. When we get some drums in here, we'll show you how to do drums. And as always, keep wrenching.